And we need to think about that seriously. What were those hurdles that got in my way of getting what I wanted to get accomplished this year? So I don't carry that same stuff the next year and end up going over the same hurdles the next year. And guess what? You can avoid all the hurdles if you just concentrate on you. And that's so important, guys. We're not children anymore. And so when you get hurt and you cry, people pay you less attention than they would a child. When your needs are out there, people pay less attention to your needs than they would somebody who's just starting out. Because so what? And the question they have is, what did you do with that valuable time that you had becoming the person you are at the age you are? And you know, we sit down with kids sometimes and we have to scratch our head. Sometimes those kids talk more logic than we do. They sit down and they'll say something and you'll wonder, where did they get that from? Well, they're speaking truly from their heart. Because they don't know too much about the craziness yet that can go on amongst people. So when I hear children talk, I listen. Because it can teach me some things sometimes on how to be orderly in my life. How to be honest about who I am in my life. And that's what life is all about. Not going out here fighting battles every day. Not struggling. Not trying to run a game or play con. That has to have a wearing effect on you at some point. The day should come when you get up and say, you know what, thank you, Jesus. I'm going to go out there and do the best I can because I feel good about who I am and what I'm all about and what I'm going to do. I mean, that has to be something we all work toward. Just feeling good about waking up and knowing that the day is going to be whatever I want it to be. Not something somebody else has got me locked down to. Or the games I got to play just to make it through the day. That's what this is all about. That's what Common Ground is all about. Helping you come to an enlightenment in your life so you can become empowered to control what you want to control. And I tell you right now, having your own, what's that phrase? God bless the child who's got his own. That wasn't just said to be said. There's some truth that God bless the child. Because you ain't got to ask nobody. You ain't got to depend on nobody. You ain't got to do for nobody. And an example is, I do not get paid for doing this, but I love doing it. And people can look at me crazy. They can call me names. They can talk about me like, I do it because it's coming from my heart. And for the last 14 years, God has taken care of me. Yeah. So people say, well, you got Robert. Robert ain't working no more. He retired. But that's no gloom and doom for me because guess what? We plan for this. And that's all I'm saying. You plan for what you want. Yes, Mom.
I would like to suggest to all of us, we are getting ready to go into a new year. We come through this year, and we've gone through our themes each month. But I think in order for us to truly go forward in the new year, maybe we've already done it, but we need to each one sit down and take a piece of paper and write out on paper so we would know that we know who we are. A lot of people they don't know themselves. They don't accept themselves. And then after we write down that paper saying who we are, then we need to have another paper saying what are our goals. We all should have goals. There's a purpose for us in life. There's a plan for our life. But we got to be involved in it. So if you never think about what your purpose is, you never think about your plan, then it's almost like you going to California. You don't know how, in your mind, you don't know how to get there. You don't have a map. So you think you ever get to California? I don't think so. So, you know, we need to do that. And then one other thing, we're going to start this new year. We need to have a financial goal, a plan.
Yes.
I mean, we have some money from some place. If you don't have any money, you still have something. So what you going to do with your talent? What are we going to do with our gifts? Again, we don't have a plan, we don't have a roadmap, we don't know where we're going. I don't think we're going to get there. So those are just some little tidbits for us to use. And the other one is health. Get one body to live in a lifetime. some of us will take better care of our glasses, car, the dog, or whatever than we do our bodies. We don't consider anything about health. So I want us to put that on top of our agenda, okay? Thanks.
And it's so important what she's saying, having a roadmap, just having some direction. You know, I think, and I think this is adults. As adults, we get a little, uncomfortable with the fact that we may not have some of those things that we thought we wanted in life. Then you need to reevaluate what you wanted in life sometime. Reevaluate. We all want a mansion on a big hill, but sometimes that's not realistic. And what we got to go from is where we are right now. Don't ever feel demeaned because you're not doing something somebody else is doing that you thought you should have been doing. See, a thought is just a suggestion. And we should have thousands and thousands of thoughts. But you aren't going to ever come to a conclusion until you experience some of these thoughts. You can't make decisions about life unless you've experienced some things in life. You can't go out there and say, I don't know how to do this, until you get out there and try to do it. And I've seen the talent in this room. This is just a few of you guys. I've seen talent, and I'm not just saying this because I love you. I'm saying I've seen talent in each and every one of you. Talent in ways that you can maximize on, but you got to come to that understanding that this is my talent, not somebody else. You got to take claim to that. And you guys are sitting on gold mines right now. And a lot of it because you've come to common ground, you've heard different people talk, you've heard people share, and you've opened up your mind. For the last 12 months, your mind has been open to all kind of information, all kind of ideas, all kind of suggestions. So it's not like y'all lacking, it's not like you're lacking in understanding, you're lacking in activity. Activity meaning you're not doing anything about it. Filling out an application, going checking something out, getting involved with a group. Those things are things you could actively be involved in. That will catapult you. Now, what I want some of y'all to do, you might say, what's this guy? I want y'all, if y'all got a TV, to watch this weekend the Dolly Parton story.
Oh yeah, come on tonight.
And I say that because guess what? Dolly Parton grew up in a log cabin with 11 brothers and sisters. 11 brothers in a log cabin in the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. And if you've never been to the Smoky Mountains, ain't nothing out there but mountains. Ain't no Kroger's, ain't no Target. This is the Smoky Mountains. And they didn't have separate bedrooms. They slept where they could sleep. And look at Dolly Parton now. Country girl from the Smoky Mountains, Dollywood. She's just opened up another place, you know what I'm trying to say? And it's called perseverance. If you got an idea and you open your mouth and express it, you'd be surprised who's willing to work with you and get that idea solved. Especially, and I hate to say it, especially if you're going to make them a profit. People like profit. They like to know that they're going to get something out of what you bring to their attention. So I'm saying to you guys, take that talent, first of all, sit down and, like Mom Bessie said, write those things down that you think that you're good at. And then go to people you know who are doing what you think you want to do. And then watch how people spring up. I'm so willing to help you get to the next step in what you're trying to do. Yes, Lynn.
I was wondering it was an exercise we did a couple months ago where we had to stand in front of each other and ask the person in front of you, who are you? Who all was here that day we did that? That was a very powerful exercise. You can actually do that with yourself at home in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? Who am I? You know what I'm saying? To get to the real you. And a lot of people had a problem that day because they had to really dig deep inside themselves to really figure out who they are. And it's surprising to me that a lot of folks don't know who they are.
A lot of folks don't want to accept who they are, who they become. And all that is nobody to be angry about, with. Nobody to be mad at. My mama, no, my mom. We didn't cut that cord a long time ago. You've had many experiences out here. Little white man. No white man, no white man, You go around the back, you can go around the right man, honey. I've done that several times. Ain't nothing stopping you from getting to your goal with you. Because if you give into frustration, anxiety, and all that no that you hear, then that's your disappointment. Because as you get older, you realize, can't nobody tell you something you don't want to hear. If you got a design on something, a desire for something, and a goal in mind, you're going to pursue it. It ain't nobody else's opinion going to stop you from getting there.
Another thing that I want to show and remind us of, that was a while back when Dee Dee was here, and she did, right in front of us, she did the vision board. And so, for all of us, Jane just said, some of us, we just don't know who we are, we don't know what we want to do. So I mentioned writing down goals and plans. Well, I think it would be so good for each one of us to do a vision board. You just take the newspaper, take the magazines, or take whatever. So you have in your mind, who are you, what you want to do, what are your visions, what you want to accomplish, put them on the vision board. Take your vision board and put it up in your bathroom where you can see it, by the mirror, put it by the door when you're going out the door, wherever there's a place that will give you a reminder daily of who you are, what are your goals, where you want to go, and then you figure out daily how you're going to get there. Dee Dee may want to make a few remarks on this, because she did the vision board, and this is just a little something. Even if you don't do a big board like this, just take yourself a little, what you call them, the composition book, do one page in there. And so we can keep ourselves on track, knowing who we are. And the other thing about knowing who we are, when we are living our lives daily, the best us we can be, you'll never know how many people you touch daily and how you would help them. It's just no way. Because sometimes you just be walking down, maybe you made a goal. I don't care where I go today, I'm going to smile. And you will be surprised how you could help somebody. I mean, they just needed your smile this day. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, Einstein is the devil's workshop. My grandma used to tell me.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
So this vision board that we all poured our dreams into what we want to see come out of common ground with all the gifts that we have sitting right here in this room. And everyone expressed a part of themselves and put it on the board and told what it meant to them and shared it. So that day we all on one accord, you know, it's power when you come together. We came together and we put these dreams out here for common ground. So they are here. You can look at the board and study, or you can add something else to it. If you wasn't there that day, you can still add. There's still places where you can add your spot to the common ground vision board. So you see for everybody in here, all our dreams and our visions for each other, you know. It's a good thing that we got right here. A lot of people wish they were sitting in our seat.
Yes, they do. Right. Well, you know, Dee Dee, and we gotta give our people accolades for when they are successful. You know, Dee Dee. Now, I don't know how long some of y'all know Dee Dee, but just reflect back. And look where she is now. This woman has done things in the community that she probably thinks she could even do herself. You know what I'm trying to say? And I'm sure had doors slammed in her face. People to say no to her. And she still perseveres. Because you know one of the things she discovered is her purpose and what her intentions are.
And common ground helped me.
Well, you know what?
Discover that purpose. That's why I keep coming back here and wanting to get that all I can.
One.
Yeah, I put something on this vision board.
Did you?
Yeah, and this year when we did it, I said I wanted to lose weight and, you know, have my hair like this. And somebody said, you bald head, your hair never going to grow back, you'll never look like that. I don't know who said it. I think Dee Dee said it. he said, you know.
Well, that doesn't look like you when you were 15 years old, but go ahead.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to lose some weight and growing my hair back. I mean, that's a goal.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it
And
is.
I can get there.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to get there, you just have to work at it.
And in your time, nobody else's time.
Yes.
I'm gonna have a big afro again. I'm gonna have a little slim body again.
All right,
Now,
Dwayne.
didn't you put something on here?
Uh-uh.
You wasn't here
I
that
wasn't
day?
here.
I thought you was here. Who else was here that day? You Sam?
Tim was there. I put that fruit up there on there, for healthy eating.
All right.
All right.
And I mean, that's what I'm working on for the beginning of the year.
All right, you can do it,
Yeah,
you
remember
can
that.
do it.
Jim come and knock us dead.
I gotta get rid of this.
And see, guys, don't fuck up. Set small goals first. Don't do nothing magnanimous. You know, you ain't got to go out there and say, well, I'm going to go out there and pursue a college degree right now. Take a class at the junior college first.
Yeah.
Okay? Do something, whatever you want to do. You know, there's too many people out there doing probably what you want to do that you can just tap into and say, can I talk to you for a minute? And that's one of the movies we're going to be showing the first month in December. It's called The Pursuit of Happiness. Okay? Because I don't care what you say about that movie. There was one point in that movie where it just took off. And he asked that man, how did you get what you have?
Right.
You know, how did you get what you got?
That Lamborghini was did it, baby.
You know what I'm saying?
Roll up in his
And it
face.
just, you know,
Oh,
yeah. And from that moment on, he pursued whatever that man told him. He showed up at that man's house. You see what I'm trying to say? He did all kind of things to guarantee that he was going to get what he started out to get. And then when he said, and he had a son, he said, you know what? He don't ever let nobody tell you no.
Not even me.
That's what he said, not even me. Don't ever let nobody tell you no. You gotta pursue that. And see, he went to an interview with paint on his clothes,
Sure did.
his face all messed up. He didn't have a suit on.
He ran from his house.
But he was
all
so
the way there.
determined to get that job. He says, I'm gonna go up there. And they're gonna have to appreciate me. And then he said, what did they say? They respected him for being who he was. And God gave him that job because they say, in their mind they say, this man is gonna persevere regardless. And that was a true story because that same man turned out to be a big billionaire after all was said and done. Owning the company. See what I'm trying to say? It starts small by just finding out, being around, and I know a lot of you guys have been around stuff you've seen that you like, things you might want to do and all that. Well, tap into that. If you want to be a CNA, a certified nursing assistant, you go over to Grady and say, can I volunteer with you for a little while? And when they see what your talents are like, they may not say nothing to you, but you're going in every day, on time, and volunteering to do what you're supposed to do, they will hire you over somebody they don't know anything about.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
But you've got to tap into that resource. Ain't nobody going to walk up to your door and knock on it and say, your job is. Just like the interns right over there now who graduated today from that first part of their program. We got Oriana, we got Jermaine over there, we got Antron, and they're graduating from the first half of their program today. About to go out there and pursue internships in corporations and organizations where they can advance where they've already gone. So tap into it. That's all you got to do. And stop waiting for somebody to give you something. Those days are gone. Mom and daddy days are gone.
Sure they are.
And grown folk look at you like, who are you for me to give you something? Show me some talent. Show me some skill. Show me some ability. And that's what it takes off, you know.
You know, it's amazing, we all are sitting on a gold mine. And we don't know, some of us don't know we're sitting on a gold mine.
Right.
I know I'm sitting on one and I know how to get there.
Exactly.
I already know how to get there now.
Yeah.
It took a while, but I know how to get
But
there.
no, it didn't take, it took your time.
Yeah, I know how to
It
get
took
there.
your time to get
I
there.
know how to get there.
And never measure yourself by anybody else's scale.
Thank you.
man.
Never do that.
Never do that.
I am 63 years old, the oldest person in my PhD class, and do you think I care? Do you think that I care what them 19, 20, well, they 19, the 30 and 40 year olds are doing? No. Because guess what? I got a 4.0
Okay.
and evidence to show it. So, no, I had to raise my self-esteem in that situation. I had to really raise my self-esteem. Because I'm like, I can't think like these people used to think. I mean, get thinking. I had to get in there and show myself. In my first class, I got an A. And JD was just right there the day when they sent me the email, I got another A in this class I just took this semester. So I'm just saying, you get the head right, and you persevere. Because I tell you, I told my mother when I was home for Thanksgiving, I never felt good about my writing. I never felt good about going to school. She said, well, honey, you can do it. Just build your confidence. And that's how you get there. So start somewhere. Start somewhere. And you know what? The friends, the family, the associates, they're going to all be there to applaud you afterwards. So you don't have to be around them now. They ain't going nowhere unless they do something to damage their life. They ain't going nowhere. They're going to be there. And if they're good friends, they're going to motivate you and encourage you to continue doing what you're doing. Those are called healthy relationships. They're not going to tell you when you got to study and all that, well, come on out to the club, you can study later. But they're going to say, get your work done. Those clubs are going to be there later after you get your degree or whatever. You got to study for a postal exam. We got one guy now I've been working with. One little guy, oh, he's just the smartest little guy. He just graduated last year from school. He just passed his postal exam and got to the post office. You know what I'm trying to say? And he's slowing down. He wasn't going to get no job. He just turned 19 years old, and now he's a mailman. And you know what mailmen start at? $34,000 a year. A 19-year-old with $34,000 a year. You know what I'm trying to say? And but he was gone for like 6 months. We didn't see him because he was studying that postal book. Because he found out that's what I want to do. So you got to say to you now, and the scary part is when people look at you now, they're gonna say, well, that's your fault, and you got to accept that. If you don't have, if you can't do, and all of the other things that make, then it's your fault. And all they're saying is, you had the opportunity, the ability, and the time to do it. Why didn't you? So don't be mad at other people when you don't have what you want. Don't be mad at people because they look at you kind of crazy and don't want to invite you in. I mean, seriously. If it ain't going to be purposeful for your life, why is it in your life? If it has no meaning in your life, why is it around your life? And that's where we get pulled into the quicksand. We have stuff around us that's weighing us down, and we can't climb out of it. We're in the quicksand. And then we get so far down, we're about to sink, our head's about to go under, and we want to blame everybody else for why. No. It's the same thing I tell parents right now. You don't discipline your child at 16. It starts at 4. It starts at 3. They don't understand discipline when you start trying to do it at 16. They don't know what that means.
Just start walking.
You start at a point where you know you can grow into it and understand. So start at the bottom and then work your way up. Guys, again, like Dee Dee said, like I'm saying, the talent in here is just immeasurable. We can't even measure the talent in this room. We can't. But it's going to take you guys. And I think the hurting part for those who don't do it is the fact that they knew and they didn't do. They knew. See, people sitting over there out there right now in Pine and Peachtree and Pine ain't getting what you're getting right now. Because they're sitting out there. You're in here. And you're here. The people bringing things to you are giving you a prescription, a map, a guideline, an outline of how you can do it. You know, I just did this final project for my class called an annotated bibliography. Now that blew my mind, I know it's blowing yours. And I was like, an annotated bibliography, what the hell is that? And I had to get on Google and figure out what it was. But I went on Google. And then when I saw what it was, I said, oh, it's just a combination of the other stuff I've been doing. And I sat down and I did my annotated bibliography, and she said, perfect, give me a perfect grade. And I was like, but I started out, I didn't know what the heck it was. Now when I did the annotated bibliography, then she turned around and said, now you need to do an annotated outline. Since you did the bibliography, you got to do an outline. This is all leading to the project. First you do the bibliography, then you do the outline, then you do the project. And me being out of school 20 years, 30 years, I didn't know what they were talking about. So I sat down and I spent the 2 days learning what a bibliography thing, and I did all that in 3 days. and then I'm getting an A on my paper. I could have threw my hands up and said, oh no, I can't go through this. I mean, and I was frustrated. I was really frustrated. But then when I sat down and did it, guess what? I will never have a challenge with that again. Because guess what that all leads to? In your dissertation, the final book you got to write for your PhD, you got to have an annotated bibliography in there. You got to have an outline in there. You got to have all that stuff in there. And so now I know how to do it. So that's one challenge I won't have to deal with. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is take the small things first. Y'all got something Dee Dee and I didn't have when we were growing up. A lot of y'all didn't either. It's called a computer.
Yeah.
You can sit down there and any question you got, you can ask Google, and you will get an answer just like that. My best we was going to go to a card catalog and go up in the stacks and find books and try to find. Y'all all you gotta do is hit a button and the information come right up for you. So there's no excuse for finding out information. If you want to be a bus driver tomorrow, Marta,
They'll hire you.
Clayton County,
They will hire you.
and they'll tell you where to go to get that application.
They sure will.
You know, when Travell went over to ITC, and they still talk about him over there at ITC. Those professors over there talk about Travell. I don't know what he did, but he did something. But he went over there, and Travell took on master level classes. Because they ain't got no BA program over there. They ain't got no undergraduate program over there. They got master level classes. He took all those master level classes and passed them. Now, that should tell Travell something. He's qualified to do something, talented to do something. And when they told me he was over there, I was like, Travell gonna be able to pass these classes, and I know how you gotta write it. I know what you gotta do. And he passed them and graduated. So whatever you think about Travell, you know he got a good head on his shoulder. Anything else is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. But that was a challenge for him. And then with Rick, another friend of mine, Rick, went through that program. And several people went through that who had doubt about them going to school. And they went and they were all graduated. I was at the graduation, I saw it. So all I'm saying is that same talent that Travell has, you have in you. Whatever that talent is, you have to direct it. This man over here is one of those talented artists out here, and he's directing it in his own way. He's working on it in his own way, and I know he is.
I tell you, I got my song played on
And I heard some of it.
I got it played on the, like, not the radio, but live broadcast.
Oh yeah, but I've heard some of his stuff on the internet. He's been doing. You know? Guess what? You know, I was in the restaurant. I was in Outback Steakhouse, and we had a chance to we bumped into CeeLo. Y'all know who CeeLo is?
Yeah.
CeeLo Green?
Yeah, CeeLo Green. He was at Outback out there in Conyers. And we sat down and I said, CeeLo, how did you get to where you are? He said, man, I just started doing stuff in my basement. He said, I started doing, and then he started pushing stuff out there to Jermaine Dupri. People he knew in Atlanta,
Network.
he could get his stuff out to. He said, man, I gave Jermaine about 10 different discs before he finally accepted one of them.
Did you hear about the guy that played on Empire? He was working at the Pizza Hut.
Yes. Yes.
Which one?
The youngest one.
Joaquin?
Yeah.
Oh, you want
Yeah. And guess who else? Yeah, and two other people that started out the same way that we know. In Baltimore, Maryland, Tupac and Jada Pinkett Smith worked in the same restaurant
Oh, I didn't know that.
at the same time.
They were best friends in school.
At the same time.
They had arts together
So
too.
I say, Tupac was singing. He invited Jada Smith to a concert one night. He was singing here at some club that Ludacris had. I don't know whatever club that was. And guess what? Out of that, Ludacris met Jada Smith, who introduced her to Keenan Ivory Wayans. You know what I'm trying to say? And then went on from there. You see what I'm saying? But you cannot have a talent, sit on it, and expect it to go anywhere. And you got to be willing to deal with rejection
Oh,
and understand that rejection is just an education.
And this Sarah Ryder used to work at a restaurant in New York as a waitress, and listen, she was bad. But still, she was a waitress in New York before she got her big break back in 1990.
And just think, in a city like New York, where you got millions and millions of people with talented talent, You broke through that because guess what? You persevered. You have to persevere in a city like New York, where you got all that talent. You see it?
They couldn't deny their voice time.
You know what? Last time when I went to a revival of Dr. Ann, one thing she said last time really was so profound to me. She said that the enemy is in I. In other words, the enemy is you. The enemy is I. And it was so weird because it was just so profound because a lot of times our fear is because of doing something. Sometimes we have to go and approach the enemy. And sometimes the enemy is ourselves. And we're scared to approach ourselves by doing certain things. The enemy is I. The enemy is in I.
Do you know when you walk in? Do you know when you walk into an office, be it even your doctor's office or your wherever you go? Do you know when you walk into that office, they can look at the expression on your face and tell what kind of personality you got,
Oh yeah.
what kind of demeanor you have that day. They can look at you and tell. Well, you know, and sometimes that sort of directs how they're gonna relate to you. You come in looking all crazy, they're gonna direct that in the way they're gonna have to do. Maybe I need to brace myself with this person. You know, what I'm saying is, you have to be the light of your life. You gotta be that beacon of light that comes on when you're ever in a situation where you can market what you got and expose what you're trying to do. Without that light, you're in darkness, right? Anybody gonna see nothing? So you gotta shine. You gotta have on your best whatever your best is. You know, sometimes it takes us to see what other people have gone through in order for us to see where we can go.
And you know, all the time people is trying to teach people how to shine.
Yeah.
But they won't listen long enough to learn how to shine.
They won't.
They won't listen long enough.
I'm working with this one young man right now. He just got out of the Salvation Army rehab center over there off of North Side. What's that? Marietta Street. I don't know, some of y'all might know what that is. It's on Marietta Street, behind the Goodwill place over there. And he came out. I'm gonna buy me a truck. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do deliveries for these big companies and all that. And he did for 3 weeks. But guess what? His friends came and exposed him to something that he.
They want his friends.
And I said, David, I said, what was it about these friends? Well, I thought they were telling me the truth. Well, the only truth you have is your truth. Your truth is the only truth there is. Other people's, that's their ideas. That's their truth. You can't live off somebody else's truth. Your truth was you wanted to get a truck and do what you wanted to do. That's your truth. What they wanted to do had nothing to do with your truth. And now you're off course. So now he tells me, well, I'm self-detoxing. No, you can't self-detox from heroin. There's no way you're going to self-detox off of heroin. And I told him that. So now, he's got a little girl, 11 years old, a wife who breaks her neck every day going to work. And they're now trying to, the family dynamics are now, how do we deal with this? Because the wife is already on her direction. The daughter's already, the mother's taking care of the daughter. But now she got this husband in the house who is just off track. You see what I'm saying? Now she's got to interrupt her purpose and try to get him back on track. You see, so what I'm saying is the domino fall and whatever behind it's going to fall with it. It's going to fall right with it. And that's where healthy relationships. You've got to be mindful of what's behind you, what's beside you, and what's in front of you. That's a healthy relationship. What's behind you, what's beside you, and what's in front of you. And if you don't know those dynamics, then you're going to get tripped up every time. In other words, you ought to know what's in your space.
You better know. You better know.
You better know it. Yeah, you better know what's in your space. And like Mom Bessie said, we can see insects in our house. We'll go out and buy some black flag, won't we?
Sure.
Try to get rid of them. But we invite some crazy people in our house and we don't know how to get rid of them. Think about that. We don't know how to get rid of the stuff that really does more damage to us. The roaches are okay. But we'll go get some black flag for them okay roaches. But we can't get those other insects out of our house. Those human insects. And a friend came to me, he said, a friend came to me and said, he said, you know, well, my mother's on drugs. She's always been on drugs. And I said, well, you know what? If you don't find a way to get your mother to rehab, and let the rehab people do what you can't do, you will always be down with your mom. I said, love is one thing, help is another. And you know how to separate the two. If I can't help you, I can still love you. But I can't love you if I can't help you. And you'll get depressed behind that. You try to help somebody who don't love themselves.
Amen.
You try to help somebody who don't care about what they're going through. You're giving all this energy, all this effort, and the next thing you know, they back out there doing what you thought they'd already, you know what I'm saying? And then you get depressed because your time and energy is gone. Don't let no be the word to bring you down.
Yeah, but I was reading yesterday, if you put positive energy out, helping somebody, it's still going to be a success to me, even though that the person might not recover. Because I done did the work that I need to do. I'm still successful.
And you know when to stop doing what you need to do. So you got to know when to say enough is enough.
Right.
I can't do anymore. You know what this
The rest is up to you.
you know what this priest said to this doctor, because his doctor was trying to tell this woman who had terminal illness, and she only had 6 months ago, and this lady had 4th stage of illness. This preacher told this doctor the difference between God and a doctor is God know he ain't no doctor. Think about that. The doctor should know he ain't no God.
Right.
You think about that. You got to know what you are and what you're not.
Could you say that again? Because I missed something.
The preacher told the doctor, God, there's a difference between the two of them was, God knows he's not a doctor.
God is not a doctor?
No.
Not a doctor. Listen, what's that? I'm listening real
The
carefully.
doctor should understand, it's more about the doctor than the God.
Right.
Okay.
The doctor should understand that he's not God.
Yeah. But God is a doctor.
Well,
He's a
but
lawyer.
that wasn't the point. The point is the doctor should know.
It was out from the head over there.
No, it wasn't about God not being there. It was about the doctor knowing he's not God.
It wasn't out from the bed.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So know what your limits are. Know what your limits are and stand on that. And if people get their feelings hurt, like my bestie say, if my feelings get hurt too bad because I'm giving you something you should understand and you should know. Now, if your feelings get hurt, then I just got to step away. I've done my job, like Dwayne said. Now it's something you're on your own. Don't fight with nobody because they don't want to get where you are or accept what you have. You put it out there, you make it clear and plain, and then you step back. Because you put the gas in the car. Now, let the other person drive. Okay? You were respectful and helpful enough to put the gas in the car. Now, it's their job to drive. Wherever direction they want to go, whatever they want to do. That's all I'm saying. And guys, I'm not saying this and I'm not burning up all my energy this morning just for me talking to you guys. I'm talking because this is the end of another year.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't want anybody repeating
Right.
any kind of thing that held them back in the next year. I just don't want to see that happen. So if you're tripping and falling and stumbling and all out of shape, this is a time to reflect. I mean, to deep, we're talking about critical, serious reflection. Which means some of us got to go away from everything we know and just sit back. You know, they had a word for that back in the day called tarry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Terry.
We need to go tarry in our own closet.
Yeah.
Shut the door. We do. See, some of the stuff, you wonder how your grandma got to be 90 and 80 and 90 because they sat back and they thought about, what do I need to do to get, see, because our grandmothers didn't have PhDs. Our grandmother didn't go, have all these old fancy items and things in there. They survived regardless of the circumstance because they put energy and time into understanding how to get from one point to the next. And as kids, we don't sit back and think, well, how did mom take care of 8 kids on what she had? We don't think about it. That's not important to us. All we know is we expect it to be there when we want it. Not what they got to go through to get it so we can have it. So all I'm saying is sometimes we got to sit back And we got a process, and you can't get tired. What's that song? I'm no ways tired. You cannot be tired of working on yourself. You cannot be tired of working on you. Because when you get tired of working on you, guess what? Somebody else will come and work on you. And you don't want to work for somebody else working on you. Because you don't know where they're going to take you, where you're going to end up, and what's going to happen. You cannot get tired of working on you. You can't throw your hands up in the air and say, I'm through. And you might as well dig a hole, jump in it, and let us cover it up. Because you might as well be dead. But if David only gets one album out there and gets notoriety for it, he's accomplished the goal. True. You see what I'm trying to say? And that's his goal. Nobody else, that's his goal. And if he wants to treat it like it's a gold record, then that's his goal. Respect him for that. Yes.
And I couldn't say
Well, it's going to come back. Because I know it's a great thought. It's a great thought. But no, guys.
It's okay. It's okay. It's in your home.
Yeah,
it's in your home.
They show up every now and then. They show up. Trust me. I don't know. I'm losing stuff all the time now. I ain't losing it. I'm just saying, focusing on it. You know what I'm trying to say?
When you're at your worst and you think that you can't go no longer, that's when God is really the closest to you. And God believes in working with the impossible. I'm the impossible, and that's what I used to say. Father, you say you can do the impossible. I'm the impossible. Look where I sit at. Now I have no voice. I can't do no big band. I have no money. I'm poor, you know. And you work with it and showed me I can work the impossible through you.
And see something?
And the impossible, if you feel it's impossible, God is right there. He likes the impossible. The more it's impossible, the more God wants to work with
Yes.
you.
You know, and it's been said that confession is the first sign of salvation.
Yeah.
Confession is the first sign of salvation. That means you understand now how to get where you want to go. Confession. You got to confess. This is who I am, this is what I want, and this is how I'm going to get there. That's a confession.
Yeah.
And you got to lock that down. You got to wake up every morning knowing that this is my goal. I can count, and I have my struggles. I got this big house out there in Stone Mountain, nice place. But guess what? When I first moved into it, I was like, oh Lord, this is just too much house. And I'm gonna be lonely in this house because ain't nobody gonna come way out to Stone Mountain. But guess what I said to myself? You know what? I have my own goals right now. And my goal is to enjoy life.
Amen.
If nobody ever knocks on my door, this is my life. And I need to be happy with it. And now I go home and I walk those rooms just like, and I ain't doing nothing. I just walk in them and I enjoy it. I'll sit down with the cat sometime and I'll get my lap and we'll just sit there in that room and just enjoy it. Because it's an accumulation of what I have worked for. This is my example of what I was trying to do. And if you only got 2 rooms, enjoy it. Don't look at somebody and say, well, they got 3, they got 2 bathrooms, I only got 1. You're going to use one at a time, right?
I'm just gonna piggyback off what Dee said. Like, I'm one of the impossible too because a lot of people growing up like sleeping behind that bitch behind the down the Fourth High Street. Now I got more than that apartment.
And you know what? And that's his, and what I'm saying is, don't look at somebody where they are and try to define what's going on with them. They're in their own walk, going in their own direction, doing what they got to do. Now, you may wake up the next day, he got this apartment, he may be what? Living in a condo on Peachtree Street.
Biggie.
You see, but you get confused. Well, how did he do that? Well, he took time and patience and he endured. And that's the only way you're going to get to where you got to go. Time, patience, and endurance. And there's more. And one of the things I said to myself when I came to Common Ground, I told Denise this, my executive director at the time, and I told Theron this, her assistant. I said, you know what? I'm not taking over a program where there are people living in shelters and homeless. I'm not working for a homeless shelter. If these people are coming to this program, they're going to excel in who they are and what they're doing. Because the only reason they're in the shelter is because they haven't given themselves time to think about how to be better than what they already are.
That's so true.
So when you don't want to accept responsibility for you, then you end up in a shelter. And I'm going to tell you this, y'all sit up in these churches, God did not put you here to live in no shelter.
No.
God did not put you here to be under somebody else's thumb. And you know, until you experience independence, and a lot of us ain't got independence because we doing somebody else's stuff. Until you can stand and say, this is mine, I've done it with my own energy, my own effort, my own understanding, then you are still doing somebody else's stuff. When you start giving people orders and sharing with people what you got and how they can get to where they can want to go, then that's when you become the leader. When you're giving advice, when you're sharing your goals and your experiences. When somebody will sit there and even if they want to pay to come here, you got to come out your mouth. Then you say that I'm the leader now. Now I can give other people direction on how they become leaders. How they can meet their goal. And if their goal is to come out of a shelter and live in a rooming house, then let me help them get there. Because they're going to feel, when they get in that rooming house, they're going to say, oh, I like this, I want more rooms. How do I get more rooms? You see what I'm saying? You got to bring this stuff to you, because it ain't going to be given to you. I'm saying this because we're closing out this year, and you got 15, 20 more days. And this may not mean something to a lot of people, guess what? January 1st ain't promised to none of us. So if you are blessed to make it into the next year, you ought to say, God, I'm going to give you the best I got. I'm going to give you the best I got to be the best I can be. Because that's what you would expect out of me. Yes, sir.
I just feel like this is a time for everything under the sun. You know, everybody's not going to graduate at the same time or be successful at the same time. You have orders and steps. You have you walk this course of life. You know, but everything's on God's time. There's times that you know, oh, I want this, and I want this, not the right time.
Exactly.
And yesterday, I'm gonna tell you this, the young man, he was in a line, but he was last. And he picked up his plate, he said, dang, I'm last on the eat. I said, no, last don't mean that you're last. It could mean that you're first. Because with the line, there is no beginning, there's no end. You just don't know your position, you don't know yourself. I said, last don't mean last.
That's right.
They don't.
The last doesn't always mean last.
They don't.
Because the person at the end of the line can have the most going for them than the person in the front
Right,
line.
front line.
See, the person in the front line might be rushing.
Yeah.
Might be rushing. The person in the end is taking his time. Because you know what? There's some things I need to add to this before I get to the front of the line. Some things I need to do before I get up front. So when I do get up front, guess what? I'm ready for everything that's going to come along with it. You know, why do some basketball players who make millions and millions of dollars end up broke? Because they jumped to the front of the line.
Because they spiritual
Everything they want.
Now, if somebody came to me with a $100 million contract, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down and contemplate on that. I'm going to think on it first. Before I open my mouth about anything, I'm going to look at what's entailed. What do I have to do to keep this $100 million? And do I rightfully deserve this $100 million? And you got to think about that. Because people will give you stuff, expecting stuff sometimes that you can't give back. So do I earn this? Am I earning this? Or am I giving this to fulfill somebody else's goal? A lot of them go and play 5 or 6 years. Get hurt. Some of them just get old. Can't play no more. And you know what the NBA will say to you? Well, that's that. That's that. And that's why I fight right now. Right now, and they sick of me. I fight for the NCAA. When I say that, college students who play athletics should be paid. And I'll give you an example. Ohio State University football team takes in $1.5 billion a year from their game. $1.5 billion in one season. Those football young boys out there,
Don't get
18,
a
19,
dime.
don't get a dime of that money. But they get beat up, knocked around. Some of them can't, they so beat up they can't go to the professional. But they gave all their 4 years in time to the school, and they're leaving there with nothing. And the school is prospering. See what I'm saying? So what I'm saying right now is, find your battle, jump in with your armor, and fight for what you believe in. And you, and everything you're trying to do. It's lunchtime. This is our last day together. If anybody wants to share anything or bring something to our attention that we're not aware of, whatever, I appreciate that. But I wish you all a wonderful, blessed, and glorious holiday season. I really do. And I hope that each of you have what you want and get what you desire.
I want to say thank you to all of you for being my friends, my encouragement, and my hope. And I've done a whole lot better coming here, being around you all. I was out here in the streets, in and out, in and out. I got tired. And I came here, it gave me so much encouragement. I got my own place, not enough.
Well, as much as yours.
And I'm determined, I got determination to keep. And I'm doing better than I was 2 or 3 years ago. And I pray, and I keep you all in my prayers, and I love you all. And thank you for all the encouragement and the hope that you gave me. And I'm happy as you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to say to the group that, y'all call me and refer to me as I'm a Bessie, but I want to thank each one of you for all the many ways in which you have blessed me, you've enriched my life, and you've given me so much, and I'm thinking about you all the time and praying for you. Love is the greatest gift. That's the free gift that we give. It's the free gift that we should receive. And when we think about this season, Thanksgiving just passed, but I always want to remind us that every day is Thanksgiving. And as a rule, every day is Christmas because we have received presents every day, even though we may not have accepted, but we receive the present and the greatest gift, which is Jesus. And all of us in this season, instead of being caught up in the trauma and drama of, oh, I did this present for this person, present for them, many gifts that we should give, they are free gifts, there's not one penny to give those. So I want us to remember that. And I want to, as our closing come to an end, I want to read the poem to you, and this is from a book called A Collection of Love Gifts. And this is the one I want to read, and if anybody wants to browse in this book, just get it. So it says, God is never beyond our reach. No one ever sought the Father and found He was not there. And no burden is too heavy to be lightened by a burden. No problem is too intrinsic, and no sorrow that we face is too deep and devastating to be softened by His grace. No trials and tribulations are beyond what we can bear if we share them with our Father as we talk to Him in prayer. And men of every color, every race, every creed, have but to seek the Father in their deepest hour of need. God asks for no credentials. He accepts us with our flaws. He is kind and understanding. And He welcomes us because we are His errant children. And His love, and He loves us everyone. And He freely and completely forgives all that we have done, asking only if we are ready to follow His leads, content that is in His wisdom, He will answer all our needs.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much. You know, there's a lot of devastation going on in the country right now. We got people talking against other people, you know, and I'll just say, I don't want to give that credence to it, But Donald Trump is out there denying people the rights through his voice, not through anything else, but through, and it just shows you all the hate and the disgust and the anger other people carry with them. We're supposed to receive people as people. We should respect people where they come from. Everybody's not a bad apple just because one person represents that apple. You see what I'm trying to say? It's out there. And as black people, we can say truthfully, we've been where the Muslims are. We've been in a place where they didn't want us here. We've been in a place where, you know, and it saddens me when I see black men stand up there and say, I agree with Donald Trump. Our country is going through a lot right now. And we gotta be strong and stable and understand that's that person's opinion. That's that person's opinion. And, well, you believe you. You know what your mind says.
That's right.
You know what you believe. You ain't got to say, you ain't got to be in love with Hillary Clinton because everybody else is. You ain't got to be in love with Donald Trump because everybody else is. You believe what you believe. And you stand fast in that. If you feel that you don't like anything out there, then don't give your energy to it. Don't give any energy to it. And I say this, I respect my right to vote. But if I don't see somebody that's going to do something that's going to better the humanity, then I'm not going to put my signature on it. I'm not going to let you and my signature take people where they don't need to be.
And you know, I sat there and watched the View. All those white women is for Donald Trump because Donald Trump is for the white folks.
Well, but he is, and let's narrow that down. Let's narrow that down.
Except
He's
for-
for
They're not for him on the view.
he's for a group of people.
Yeah.
Well, listen, he's for a group of people who've been disenfranchised.
She ain't with him.
People who have, you know, you got a lot of white people who believe they should be privileged because they're white. They live in small country towns, and they live in areas where they don't have much contact with other people. You know what I'm talking about. You go down to southern Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, there are people there who have not come up out of what, and even though the generations have changed and progressed, their attitude is still there. So you got to say to yourself, there are people out there going to apply a lot of different attitudes and beliefs. You can step there and you get people to believe and clap over anything you want out there today. But you got to know what you believe. You know, and when you start putting other people down because of how they believe, then we got problems there.
Yes.
We got problems when you take somebody else's understanding and try to make it ugly. So we're going through, our country's going through a lot. And the healthy relationships in our country are weak right now. They're weak. And it's pulling people down. It's making people frustrated. They don't know what direction to turn. Like, well, they'll just say, I don't know what to think sometimes. Well, you just stand fast in who you are, what you believe, and what you think that you need to do. And guess what? It's all going to come out okay. The worst thing is to have your signature on something, and then it turns out a big mess, right? So don't sign off on something that you don't feel comfortable with. Just leave it where it is and let it take care of itself. So if you don't feel that you want to go out there and vote for somebody, I understand the right to vote. But if you feel, don't put your signature on something you're going to feel sorry about later on. As simple as that. Guys, I love you. I appreciate you, and I thank God for you. Like I said again, I want you to have a good holiday season and a great bring the new year safe and consciously, okay? Enjoy yourself, all right? I love you. So let's grub so we can have lunch. JD just fixed it there.
I also want to tell you guys, whether you're planning on buying any gifts or not, these make some really nice boxes, and we got some here for you for free. It takes two. You know, one, you don't have to go with one for the bottom, one for the top. If you want some,
Get a big box and put it out.
help yourself. You're already on this table. If you want some, you're more than welcome.